Football IQ, which is our favorite segment of the week with John Adams. Want to get your input as well as we go along. So basically, here's how this works. Caleb's going to pull up some of the dumbest coaching moves over the weekend, and they're all dumb, but there are different levels of dumb. One level of dumb is this.
That's crazy.
Okay, and the other level of dumb is this.
You suck. Jackass.
And then, which never
That
gets
always
old.
makes us laugh.
I know, every single time. And the new level of complete dumbness is via Peyton Manning.
They're like, that is total bullshit.
Okay, so go. All right, so what level of dumb? Caleb, get us rolling here.
In honor of Halloween, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Slasher films. I don't know if either of you guys watch slasher films. I like slasher films. I'll put this up to the message boards. Who makes worse? Whose decision making is worse on average? Victims of stabbings in slasher films because they always make the dumb decision to get themselves killed, or your average coach in a football game?
Probably I don't know, man. I'll see some dumb moves.
With the victims in the slasher films, would you think coaches would probably make the same decisions those victims make, right?
Not all the coaches, though. I mean, in the slasher films, it's pretty much a given. Well, they did a commercial on it. Remember that commercial where they say, "Oh, let's go hide in the barn or something." Oh, great idea.
Yes. I'm just saying, it's a debate on the intelligence levels. So, number 5.
That's very fair. I can roll with you on that. Portions of the program brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Let's get to Football IQ. 50 years in East Tennessee, integrity matters. Don't trust a fly-by-night HVAC company to tell you that you need a new unit that could cost you thousands or more. Might just be a part or some Freon. Go to cityheatingandair.com. City Heating and Air. They'll take care of you. Let's go, Caleb. What's the first up? And we'll see just how dumb this move was by coaches over the weekend. What do we got?
All right, so number 5, one of the undefeated teams, James Madison, was on the brink of being upset this weekend because Old Dominion was playing James Madison. Old Dominion had the ball, trailing 30-27 with 1:40 to go. It was 3rd and 14. Back-to-back stupid decisions. Ricky Ryan first calls a timeout, which y'all know how I feel about taking timeouts to talk about plays. I think it's dumb. If you can't figure out a play in 40 seconds, you already have issues, okay? So I always hate that. But then coming out of the timeout on 3rd and 14 with 1:40 to go, in his brilliance and genius, he calls a draw.
Ew. Doesn't seem like that'd be a hard play to call. I'm going to give that right down the middle.
You suck, you jackass.
All right. What do you say, John?
Uh-oh. Did we lose John?
No. I said that referring to the you suck reference.
Okay.
All right. Not good at all. John, let us know if you have any that stand out over the weekend. Caleb, what else you got? By the way, Elias says, my opinion of the intelligence of your average college coach is not great, but that's a low bar. Okay. Well, come on, guys. These are absolutely fantastic. This one from somebody, did ODU pull a Heupel? Did they go for it on 4th and 1 from their own 36 and blow the lead? Do we want to look back?
Going for it. That was the problem. It was the play call. I'm sticking with my guns on that.
We want to look back on that one from the Alabama game because I will tell you what that is, Peyton.
They're like, that is total bullshit.
All right. What do you next, Caleb?
All right, number 4. Another upset that should have been pulled off. Indiana is playing Penn State. Penn State leads the game 24-21. And with 5 minutes left, they throw an interception. Spotting Indiana the ball, first down inside the Penn State 20. Tom Allen runs it 3 times and plays for the field goal. Even worse, they were averaging less than 3 yards a carry. And Tom Allen, in his press conference at the end, said that we didn't want to risk a takeaway. It was good to play for the tie right there because we wanted to go, make sure we had it tied. Of course, Penn State went down the field and scored a game-winning touchdown.
Golly, John, I don't want to wear it out, but that is...
They're like, that is total bullshit.
I mean, John, that to be that conservative in this day and age of college football? I mean, goodness gracious.
Tom Allen needs to remember where he's coaching. He's coaching at Indiana and he's playing Penn State. Is anybody alarmed if Indiana loses? I hate it. I hate it when coaches start, and I've seen it happen as soon as they get in field goal range. Some coaches start saying, okay, let's set this up for a field goal, get in the right spot, maybe make a few yards and get closer. Just, instead of going for it and trying to score a touchdown, I don't get that at all. And you see it particularly late in games.
It's like an Indiana basketball coach saying, we're not going to shoot the three anymore because that leads to long rebounds.
Yeah.
Caleb, what else you got?
All right. So number 3, Brent Venables finally looked like the non-head coach, not cut out for head coach that Dave and I have been saying he was for a while. We knew it was going to come, Dave, right? And
yeah, I felt pretty sure that was going to happen. That was, I call it the Chavis effect.
So not Indiana. Oklahoma suffered the upset loss of the weekend to Kansas. On the opening drive of the second half is where the fail was. They were averaging 6 yards a carry, running it down Kansas's throat up 21-17. They get near midfield because they're running. They bring up a 3rd and 3. And Brent Venables is like, hey, they're not going to be expecting a sweep pass, guys. Let's do that, even though we're running it well up the middle. So they call a sweep pass that gets stopped for no gain. And then wait, it gets better. They take a delay of game. Then after taking the delay of game, as they get set to punt, they don't have the formation right. So he burns a timeout to punt the ball.
Youch. Takes a timeout to punt.
Oh.
Yes. Where are we going with that? I think I Peyton Manning'd it.
I think you did.
That Peyton Manning'd it again?
They're like, that is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Didn't he apologize at the end of the game for blowing it for his players too, Brent Venables?
I didn't hear that, but he should have. Oklahoma should have lost that game. Though Kansas is Kansas is a pretty good team, but Oklahoma, so much was at stake there. And so he went against Caleb on 2 things because Caleb hates the timeouts to make a call and then the punt. No, so that's like the worst thing.
That punt.
Caleb Caleb starts twitching on that one.
Punts are turnovers.
They are, but
the gospel according to Caleb, they're turnovers.
Yes, but there's a difference between a punt I might disagree with, and I still disagree with that because I do think punting is overused, and one that I think is incredibly stupid. I don't think that was a dumb punt because it was a 4th and 8 because of the delay of game. Now, I would blame him for the delay of game. I'll tell you that. But I also am just angry at the jet sweep. So, like, I think of going back to the Tom Allen situation. I don't mind running it in field goal range late if you're running it down their throats. So, John, remember Tennessee, Florida 2017, Butch Jones's last masterpiece of coaching malpractice, where John Kelly was running it down Florida's throat. They couldn't stop him. They get inside the 10, and he's like, let's call 3 straight passes. They won't be expecting that, guys. And so,
hey, let me ask you guys this on the message board, and then, John, I want to ask you and Caleb this too. If Josh Heupel loses a game and it's clock mismanagement or he refuses to play Nico or whatever the case may be, is it good to stand in front of a podium and say, that's on me? The players played really well and they should have won the game and I made a mistake? Or does it make you look even worse? Is it better just to take the blame at that point, or does it make you look like a bigger buffoon?
I think fans are big on accountability because so many coaches don't have accountability. And they talk about, they'll make a token gesture by saying, well, we should have coached better. That's on me. It's ultimately my responsibility, but that's just a token assessment. I think when you're willing to say, specify a play and say that was a bad call on my part.
So what about after the Florida game? Let me ask you, Caleb, this. If he said, I have to be honest, I forgot Dylan Sampson was on the team. How would that play, guys?
That wouldn't play well.
That wouldn't play well. No, but I do think coaches need to be accountable. I just think that's important to a fan base because you're going to talk about plays in a game in a post-game press conference, and you're going to say what players did wrong in many cases. And I think the reaction from fans a lot of times is, yeah, okay, well, he shouldn't have fumbled the ball, but you shouldn't have made that call. You shouldn't have punted the ball there. That's what Caleb would be thinking. Why did you punt it? Idiot.
Daniel says, jackass. Accountability goes how the coaching goes. It can only happen so many times. You're right. I think if you're a 6-6 football team, and after every loss you say that's on me, then you've created a little bit of an issue, John.
No, I agree, but you don't want to run it into the ground. And I think we talked about this before when in Arkansas's game where Sam Pittman couldn't decide what he wanted to do after timeout. Is he want to kick it or whatever? And then he said, I just didn't know what to do there. You don't want to say that. You don't want to come across as dumber than a bag of rocks. I think that's important. But I think it's okay to admit, yeah, we probably made the wrong call there. I think that's fine. Particularly in Heupel's case, if you already have the reputation of being a great offensive coach. So it's okay to say those things. But you don't want, as you said, you don't want to make it routine. Gosh, you know what? I was even worse this week than I was the last week and the week before that. And I was pretty bad both Saturdays.
Yeah. Oh, man, hot damn it. I just froze up there. I completely melted down. I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Caleb, what else do you got for us?
All right, we got two more, and I think I can get Peyton Manning out of both of these still, but y'all tell me. So, did you guys watch Oregon State get upset by Arizona over the weekend, 27-24?
Yes, I did.
So, John may know where I'm going, but at the end of the first half, Oregon State's head coach Jonathan Smith decided to channel Les Miles. It was 3 seconds left in the half. Oregon State's going for a field goal because there's 3 seconds left. It's a 33-yard field goal. They spot the ball, where the kicker where they hold the ball, where they're holding it is 23 yards to the end zone. He decides to call a fake toss to the kicker and have the kicker try to run 23 yards to the end zone for a touchdown with 3 seconds left. Needless to say, it didn't work.
You suck, you jackass.
I actually prefer the you sucked in the Peyton thing because it's the tone and the enthusiasm he puts into the comment. No, that was one of the dumbest calls of the year, and I really like him as a coach. I think he's done a terrific job there at Oregon State, and he tried to explain it, and it didn't work because I think how coaches do when they study video and they look at this thing and say, here's what will work against that alignment. And it could be in punt coverage, but then somewhere there's got to be a voice in your brain that says, wait a minute, this will be the last play.
Yeah, like that and it did get a first down, but you didn't need a first down. You needed a touchdown.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we're getting all kinds of votes for Dabo. We're going to get to his comments as he goes full Jerry Green on a fan, I believe on his coach's show. So what else we got, Caleb, on Football IQ? Brought to you in part by our friends at Herald Group Security Solutions, a leadership experience specialization addressing problems through unique mission-specific mitigation techniques, making your children safer one school at a time. Go to heraldgrp.com. We're working with private schools now. Want to work with public schools, so go to your school administrator. Say, Herald Group Security Solutions. I want my children safe. Same for your workplace. Herald Group Security Solutions. What we got, Caleb?
All right, so number one, we got a former Tennessee defensive coordinator, Justin Wilcox, is on this list.
Remember that guy was like the hottest commodity in the history of college football coaching?
Well, but he did do a nice job with Tennessee, with considering what he had to work with under Derek Dooley. I mean,
he's a good defensive coach.
He's a very good defense coach, and he's lasted at Cal a lot longer than I thought he was, which really speaks to Cal how seriously it takes football.
Yeah,
That's
well,
very
I mean,
true.
one day it could rule the Pac-3.
No, they're already going to the ACC.
They're gone too.
They're in the ACC.
Oh, no.
So, all right. So here's what happened over the weekend. Cal fought their guts out against USC at home. They played very well. 50-43 late. They score a touchdown with 58 seconds left to make it 50-49. Now they have 3 timeouts left. Now Justin Wilcox decides to go for 2 in the win. I got no issue with that. I don't think you guys do either. You're the underdog. You know USC's the better team. Try to get the win right there. I may debate, since they were at home, maybe play for overtime, but I don't got any issue with that. What I have an issue is, and I'm going back to it, Justin Wilcox burns the timeout to talk about the 2-point play. So when they don't get the 2-point play, USC is able to run out the clock on the other side. If Justin Wilcox saves that timeout, they can use all 3 timeouts when USC gets the ball back, and then they have another chance at potentially a game-winning field goal with roughly 40 seconds on the clock. But Justin Wilcox, again, guys, 40 seconds isn't enough to try to figure out a play to run on the 2-point conversion. So let me take this timeout and totally end any second chance I have of winning this game if I don't get this 2-point conversion.
Yeah, to me, that's a definite.
You suck, you jackass.
But here's the reason I think it's even worse than what Caleb said is those 2-point plays, you should have 3 or 4 just ready to go. And I've seen, back when practice was open, I've seen them practice that. Go, 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 get it in. And that should be coaching 101.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, I would give him, if I don't remember, I didn't see that game, but if you line up to run that play, you've got your 2-point conversion, and you see an alignment against which your play might not work, I could see calling a timeout there if you know that play is not going to work. Caleb, were they lined up when he?
No, it was a timeout to talk about the play.
No, well, then Dave's right. I remember last season when LSU beat Alabama, and Brian Kelly went into detail about why he went for 2 points instead of kicking, because he was so certain that his 2-point play that they had worked on would work in this game, in that situation. And he went for it, and he did win the game. You're right. You've got to have all these same things. I mean, it's the same way with 4th and 1. You've got to play. This has got to be your play. You've got several plays that you would want to run. So you shouldn't need to call out timeout. That was at least crazy.
No.
And with Brian Kelly's, if you want to, I think that was in overtime, wasn't it?
I thought it was at the end of regulation. John, do you remember?
Maybe it was.
I thought it was with 6 seconds left.
Yeah, I did too. That's how I remembered it.
6 seconds left, though, you don't need the timeout as much because there's 6 seconds left in the game. But when there's 58 seconds left and you have all 3 timeouts and you could get the ball back, even if it's a bad alignment, I don't think you take the timeout because you have the chance to get the ball back in this situation.
But go ahead, John.
Well, I just noticed that a lot of these examples that Caleb is bringing up are underdogs with a chance to knock off a better team. And for some reason, the coaches don't perform well. I think that's an interesting, take on it. Why, here your team's playing well, your team is overachieving, and then kind of the coach underachieves.
John, part of the reason you have those 3 or 4 plays, and that's part of the reason that if you remember when you didn't have to go for 2, that there was a lot of goofiness in some of the overtimes because you run your best 3 or 4 plays. Part of the reason you do that, John, is because you catch the defense a little bit by surprise because you got your play ready because your best 3 or 4 goal line plays, and those are your 2-point plays. To me, that's befuddling. I mean, even for a high school coach with any experience.
Yeah, but that's why we have this segment.